Stacy Hodge will perform the rest. Ms. Hodge?
My name is John Miller, I'm the voice director, and Stacey's going to sing pieces that she sang for her audition in the School of Music at Butler University in Indianapolis. And she'll be attending their this fall as a vocal performance major. And this is Stacey. She's a senior. We're going to sing "Go Back" to be the first one. Thursday, March 28th at 7:30 at the high school. If anybody's interested, we have a very nice program.
My name is Cassie Pitt. I teach English at Crete High School, and although I would love to take credit for these ladies, I'm not their regular sponsor. Their regular sponsor is Pat Stephanie, and she wasn't able to be with us today. But I'd like you to meet the young ladies who have been serving this afternoon. And they are 6 of our senior girls. They're from our National Honor Society, so they're not only very polite and talented, but they're also some of our very best students from our senior class. They are Stacy Hodge, who just sang for you, Tricia Zimmerman, Becky Doherty, Carla Sersey, Zakia Robinson, and Lynette Nunn.
Asked me to write an abbreviated list of my horticultural qualifications. So if you bear with me, I am a master gardener, past vice chairman of the Will County Horticultural Council, current and past president of the Exotic Plant Garden Club of Homewood, a nationally accredited gardening consultant, and a nationally accredited landscape design critic and member of the State Council of Landscape Design Critics. Now, what that has to do with poetry is your lesson learned. But when a friend asks you to do something, sometimes it's a little hard to say no. So if you'll please bear with me today. This is my first shot at a serious poetic reading. But what I would like to share with you is the fact that I am happier in my garden than anywhere else. And there's a quotation that pretty much sums up my feelings, which is that one is nearer to God's heart in the garden than anywhere else on earth. So come join with me in my house of worship, where the oak trees are the pillars that rise strong and tall up towards a sky blue ceiling that is more majestic than any cathedral I know. Listen now to Robert Frost's A Prayer in Spring. Oh, give us the pleasure in the flowers today, and give us not to think so far away as the uncertain harvest. Keep us here in all symbol of the spring of the year. Oh, give us pleasure in the orchard bright, like nothing else by day, like ghosts by night. And make us happy in the bees, the swarm and dilating round the perfect trees. And make us happy in the darting bird that suddenly above the bees is heard, the meteor that thrusts in with needle bill, and off a blossom in midair stands still. For this is love, and nothing else is love, to which is reserved for God above to sanctify to what far ends he will, but which it only needs that we fulfill. So much for church prayers. My next selection starts off reminiscent of a scene that's replayed itself more than once in my life. Imagine a hungry husband coming out to coax his wife in for their evening meal as the sun is quickly fleeting. It hit even closer to home before I cut down that buckhorn tree. So, Robert Frost, putting in the scene. You come fetch me from my room tonight. when supper's on the table. And we'll see if I can leave off bearing the white soft petals falling from the apple tree. Soft petals, yes, but not so very white, mingled with those smooth bean and wrinkled pea, and go along with you ere you lose sight of what you came for and become like me, slave to a springtime passion for the earth. How love burns through putting the seed, I'm through the watching for that early birth, when just as the soil tarnishes the weeds, the sturdy seedling with arched body comes, shouldering its way and shedding the earth's crumbs. Now, how many of you have a vegetable garden? Well, at least put a tomato plant in. It's a start. It's a start. If you've noticed that there's a trend here, so far all of my poems have been Robert Frost. You notice that? Okay, congratulations, you're still awake. And no, the answer to the second question is, this is not the only book of poetry I own. So, but Robert Frost's works really do speak to me. And when you're asked, okay, you can expound on any topic you want, and I go, oh, yeah, I guess what that is. There's always a catch. It must be in verse. So, this is why most of our selections for today have come from his work. And I think the weatherman almost cooperated with me on this next one. It's called Blue Butterfly Day. And it deals with what he calls sky flakes. So as you listen to the poem, see if you can decide what you think the sky flakes are. It's a blue butterfly day here in the spring, and with these sky flakes down in flurry on flurry, there is more unmixed color on wing than flowers will show for days unless they hurry. But these are the flowers that fly and all but sing, and now from having lived out desire they lie closed over in the wind and claim where the heels have freshly sliced the April mire. Well, to me, sky flakes are the white blossoms from the flowering crabapple trees that do fall about mid-April. And we're all anxious to see those other flowers that they say must hurry. And hurry, they soon should. Okay. One more Robert Frost poem before I close the book on Quebec here. And if any of you have been blessed or cursed, depending on your perspective, as to have to travel with a gardener, this poem's discourse is painfully familiar. As I pass familiar plants, I tend to rattle off their names, in Latin, of course. Whether or not anyone is within earshot, it does not matter. It's akin to acknowledging an old friend by name. I never realized even took notice of this habit until one day he was walking a few paces behind, never quite as eager as I am to see what lies ahead. He spoke to Mother, who was struggling just to keep up, and said, I think she just makes them up. Enough said, we'll go on to the next selection. A passing glimpse. I often see flowers from a passing car that are gone before I can tell what they are. I want to get out of the train and go back to see what they were beside the track. I name all the flowers. I am sure they weren't. Not fireweed loving where woods had burned. Not bluebells gracing a tunnel mouth. Not bluefin living on sand dewdrop. Was something brushed across my mind that no one on earth will ever find? Heaven gives its glimpses only to those not in a position to look too close. So, I do have a selection that is not Robert Frost, and after sharing it with a friend, she seemed to insist that I should read this to you, since it is somewhat gardening related. It was a poem I do not know the author of, but it was given to me after the death of my father, and it offered me a great deal of comfort. It's entitled The Rose Still Blooms. A rose once grew where all could see, sheltered beside a garden wall. And as the days passed swiftly it spread its branches straight and tall. One day a beam of light shone through a crevice that had opened wide. The rose bent gently toward its warmth, then passed beyond to the other side. Now you who deeply feel its loss, be comforted. The rose blooms there, its beauty even greater now, nurtured by God's own loving care. And that is my selection of poetry. My husband, spouse, says, keep it short and leave them laughing. Well, I'm not sure I can quite accomplish the first or the second directive. But I would like to end with a Chinese proverb. If you wish to be happy for an hour, get drunk. If you wish to be happy for 3 days, kill your pig and eat it. If you wish to be happy for 8 days, get married. But if you wish to be happy forever, become a gardener.
The array just informed me that Sandy's garden will be on the platform this year. And that's something we all should see too. Well, now we're going to take and honor 4 ladies who have given much of their time to their community and to people. There are many sitting out there who are also deserving of this, but we can only take the time. And these women are really deserving of this award. I'm going to ask Shirley Murray to give the names of the honorees and their accomplishments. Shirley.
This is a pleasure for me to do this because all of these ladies are very special. And ready to start off, do you want them to come forward as I read their names? All right. Mary Cassidy, will you come forward, please? And let me tell you about Mary. I put on my glasses so I don't miss a thing. I know her pretty well. I know she's done a lot of wonderful, wonderful things in this community for people. Mary's known around Crete as a helping hand to those in need. In 1986, Mary became a volunteer for Sites Unlimited. But preceding that, I can tell you that she organized a group who read to the visually handicapped. I'm trying to be very politically correct. I got that Phyllis. Excuse me. But she read the newspapers to them every week on record, and then got a core group together to do this as a regular thing. In addition, Mary was very responsible for helping with the beginning of the pantry. And you forgot that, right? I remembered. Excuse me. And for also helping to organize the Upper Crust group, which is the senior group in town. She also put in many, many, many hours at the pantry. Now these are all things I added to this because I knew them and somebody else did not. But when Mary started working with the reading for the visually handicapped, it drew her into another group called Sites Unlimited. And since that day in 1986, when she started, she has been driving visually handicapped people to Sites Unlimited every week. Every other week, excuse me. On Mondays. You never can get her on a Monday because she's doing this. I also know that she works out at St. James Manor every week, playing bunco and bridge, and lots of other things out there. But I also remember Mary for special things. When someone is ill, she's the first person there to offer help. And this is true of many, many people in town You can name them, you've seen her there. She even takes care of their animals if they're in the hospital. She'll take them to the vets. She's just a wonderful, wonderful, caring lady. And we do respect and think that she is a wonderful volunteer. Has also belonged to the Crete Women's Club for many, many years. Our next volunteer is Virginia Hotan. Oh, sure. All right. Why don't you get a picture? This way. I'm going to read Virginia's verbatim because it's a very, very nice article. Although Virginia Hotan has been active in many organizations in Crete, we agree with Virginia that her main contribution was to the many students who were educated at Hubbard Trail Junior High School. Virginia was the secretary to the principal, but she did so much more by providing a helping hand to the students who needed some cheering up or help with their troubles. Virginia was a very special person in the school who was counselor, mother, nurse, mediator, and friend to the teachers and students in the school. It was a loss for all future students and staff at junior high school when Virginia retired in 1983. A long time. Makes me realize how old I am because my children loved her too. Since Virginia's retirement at the school as school secretary, no dust has gathered under her feet. She has been active in the Crete Women's Club and the Zion Lutheran Church. Each year, she volunteers to run the Crete Pantry when it is her church's turn to take charge in the month of August. Virginia has served as secretary of the Crete Historical Society and worked on many projects for the society. For several years, she has run a very successful rummage sale to help raise funds for a museum for the Historical Society. Before Virginia started working at the junior high school, she served in almost all the offices of the Crete Women's Club, included being president from 1960 to 1962. When Virginia married into the Hotan family, she also became interested in the fire department. Virginia helped organize the Crete Fire Department Auxiliary and became its first president in 1947. With other auxiliary members, she served sandwiches and coffee to weary firefighters on many nights. She worked at the Well Baby Clinic in Crete and with the Red Cross. Along with thousands of students who attended Hubbard Trail Junior High School, we thank Virginia for her service to Crete and its people. The next member, I think I'm going to call first on the people who are present. Lois Ort now. She's a very dear lady who I don't see enough of these days. Lois Ort now has been a resident of Crete for over 50 years. She became an active member of the Crete Fire Department Auxiliary after she married Carol Ortnow in 1944. She was the president of the auxiliary from 1951 to 1952. Many of us know Lois from the Crete newsstand and Orty's Cone Shop, I sure do, which she and her husband ran from 1964 to 1968. Many others in Crete know her for her work at the Crete Insurance Agency, where she was always extremely helpful. During the years when her 5 children were growing up in Crete, Lois provided assistance to the Girl Scouts, Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, and the Little League. Lois has contributed countless hours to the special religious education program at the Elizabeth Ludeman Center. While participating in the special education activities at Ludeman, she became became a traveling educator to other churches and organizations to inform them of the needs of the Lutheran Center. Wherever Lois goes, she brings sunshine to people. She is currently serving on the Human Rights Committee at the Lutheran Center. Ladies, Lois Ortman. Our last recipient happens to be off in Cambodia, of all places, believe it or not, ladies. Her name is Rosemary Foley. Rosemary Foley has worked diligently to promote education, art, and musical programs for the citizens of Crete and throughout the south suburbs. She served as chairman of the Crete Art Fair for 2 years. Rosemary has served on both the Illinois Philharmonic Orchestra Board and the Park 4 Singers Board, encouraging the growth of music activities in our region. She's worked hard to increase the number of scholarships given to area students attending Prairie State College. She served as chairman on the scholarship committee for the Prairie State Foundation Board, and as a foundation board member, was a foundation board member for 7 years. She has been a promoter of increased library services for Crete residents. She is an elected board member of the Crete Public Library Board District and has served for 12 years. She was president of the board from 1951 to 1955. As an active member of the Crete Women's Club, Rosemary has served on many committees and was president from 1988 to 1990. She also served on the board of United Way from 1978 to 1984. And I understand Ruth Murray, are you ready to accept Rosemary? And Ruth Murray, of course, was an honoree last year. Why don't we ask all of our honorees to please stand and receive another warm hand from the group. Come forward for a group picture, please.
The honorees from the previous year stand. At the first table over here, we have Jean and Helen Hochtown. At the next table, we have Nellie Fishunas and Irma Barron. Table here we have Shirley Murray and Phyllis Monk with the camera. And Ruth Murray and Juanita Anderson. Mary Engel. Melody Zeman. She is the president of the Staber Historical Society. And Sheila Einhorn. And I wish to thank Jackie James from the Farmer's Daughter and Nancy Johnson from the Ice Cream Village. And two gals that aren't here, come on, Doris Wright and Nancy Mandrell from Dry Goods Store for selling our Afghans, Christmas cards, and books. And they do a beautiful job. And if anyone's interested, you can see we have one of our Afghans on display. We also have our books, and we have membership lines, and if anything you'd like, you just ask very much for coming, and we hope to see you all again next year. Thank you.